That won't be good. I know.
He might have just started the next Tea Party. A massive betrayal and a sellout of the GOP again. Just snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory. They do it again. I'd love to hear Bill O'Reilly's opinion on that and whatever he deems is the biggest story of the week. We talk to Bill O'Reilly next because it's Friday. .com, where you can grab his No Spin News every day. It's nothing has changed, just the device. I mean, you're not watching it on cable TV, but you're watching the same show that he's always done, and it is just as entertaining and just as smart. Bill O'Reilly, welcome to the program.
Beck, I need your help. I need your help.
All right.
And that hurts me. It hurts me to say it.
Okay.
So I'm interviewing Donald Trump next week.
Uh-huh.
And I want to do a different kind of interview.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't want to have him venting about the election and all of that, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm asking you, and I hope we can do this in the last 3 or 4 minutes of our interview today, for suggested questions.
All right. Let's take that towards the end of the show, the bottom of the
Right.
bottom of the hour. Okay. Bill.
Yes.
The 11 senators that saved America last night, the 11 GOP senators, people like Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, others, all said, "Are you out of your mind? What are you doing?" They were bluffing. What do you think?
Well, they let the Democrats have a little safety shoot. But a lot of this stuff is not apparent to you or me or any other American. There's backroom dealing, and Mitch McConnell is the biggest backroom dealer, I think, probably in U.S. history.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Right. So we don't know what the deal was with Mitch and the other 11.
Right.
The deal might have been, you give us this extension, and we'll bring down the $3.5 trillion to 2 or 1.8 or something like that.
No, that's not a deal I want. It's not a deal.
That's fine, but I don't know if your precedent is really taken into account by Mitch McConnell.
No, I know that, but I mean, he should listen to the GOP. They are. I'm sorry, the voters, not the GOP. The voters are done with this, and they don't want to aid and abet this transformation of our country.
That's true. That's true, but the deal that McConnell is making, he's thinking 4 or 5 steps out.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sticking
Oh, yeah,
up for
you know, I'm going to take it all out on you today.
Yeah, you can take it out on me. That's all right. I'm not sticking up for the turtle.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you something that isn't reported or analyzed.
Yeah.
There are deals that are made.
Okay, so tell me the deal. Tell me what selling your country out would be worth.
Look, Beck. The big picture is this. These Democrats and the Biden administration want to turn the United States into a quasi-socialist state where the economy is run by the government.
Yes.
Everybody knows that.
Yes.
Okay?
Right.
And all 80 million Americans who voted for Biden are partially responsible for that.
Yes.
They're going to fail, but they could fail very quickly if in the midterms of 2022 there is an overwhelming landslide for the Republican Party, okay? That's the only mechanism that stops the madness.
Okay, O'Reilly.
Yes.
Wait a minute, just a second. You're right about that.
Of course.
Unfortunately, in that $3.5 trillion bill are all kinds of infrastructure pieces. Do you remember
they're not going to get
Hang on.
through.
Oh, yes, they are.
They aren't.
Yes, they are. Do you do you remember the song by Johnny Cash, "One Piece at a Time"?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where he was building a Cadillac. He was working at GM, and he decided instead of buying a Cadillac because he could never afford it, he was going to steal it and take it out in his lunchbox one piece at a time. Took him like 40 years. But he finally got a Cadillac that was a hideous monster.
Right.
That's exactly what's happening here. Every
You're
bill
correct,
they
Beck.
pass, every bill they pass has another piece of the Great Reset.
That's right. And you're absolutely correct, and I'm not arguing with you about that. I am saying once again, when you have 80 million Americans casting a vote for a man like Joe Biden, and they were warned by you and me and most astute commentators that you will suffer the consequences, and we are. But after every mistake, there is a remedy. And the remedy is next year. You're not going to stop the Biden administration from wasting trillions of dollars on equity, climate change, or whatever other nutty thing they come up with. There's no mechanism to stop it because the Republicans don't control either side of the House. And Manchin and Sinema, who are saving the country, the two Democrats who won't vote for the $3.5 trillion, they're under unbelievable pressure. And if the Republicans don't compromise a bit, they'll fold. They'll fold. And Biden will get the whole thing. So now what Mitch Boy is doing is saying to Manchin and Sinema, we're not unreasonable. We will compromise a little bit, so you just hang in, and we'll get this thing done in a responsible way. Of course, it isn't responsible. We have now a government literally wasting trillions of American taxpayer dollars. And that's not responsible, but it's never going to stop until the American people wise up.
Right. And that's why they should vote John Barrasso in Wyoming out, Roy Blunt, Missouri, Shelley Moore Capito from West Virginia, Susan Collins, John Cornyn from Texas. You're dead to me, John. Mitch McConnell, Kentucky. Lisa Murkowski in Alaska. Hang on. Rob Portman in Ohio. Mike Rounds, Richard Shelby in Alabama, and Senator John Thune. Those were the 11.
So all of the 11 that voted for an extension of the debt ceiling, you want out. Okay.
Yeah, I wish there was one more so I could technically call them the dirty dozen that were the saboteurs, but I can't. It's one shot.
Beck, calm down now.
Yeah.
Stu, do you have a wet cloth you can dab his forehead?
We can work on that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I did some research today because you always ask me on Fridays, what is the most important story of the week?
Yes.
Okay? So I have something that no one knows about that is vitally important, and I'd like to tell you about.
All right, go ahead.
All right. The most important story in the United States this week is a quiz on BillO'Reilly.com. The quiz is called, Does It Make Sense? And there are 10 questions to the quiz, and I'm going to give it to you and Stu right now. It's a yes or no answer. That's it. This is the quiz. Are you ready to take it?
Ready.
First question. Does it make sense to allow millions of foreign nationals to enter the USA unsupervised?
No.
Okay. All right. Question number 2. Does it make sense to abandon Afghanistan completely, leading to human rights abuses by the Taliban?
No.
3. Does it make sense to shut down the Keystone Pipeline just to turn around and ask Saudi Arabia to expand their oil sales?
No.
Okay, 3 no's. Fourth question. Does it make sense to support critical race theory teaching in schools that divides children on a skin color basis?
No.
Question number 5. For the federal government, does it make sense to spend so much money that inflation explodes?
No.
Does that make sense?
Does not.
Question number 6. Does it make sense to support no bail laws that allow criminals to commit more crimes?
No.
Okay. Question number 7. Does it make sense to be one of only 7 countries in the entire world that allow unrestricted abortions?
No.
Does that make sense?
No.
Okay. Question number 8. Does it make sense to oppose voter IDs?
No.
All right. 9. Does it make sense to say that white supremacists are a larger terror threat than jihadists? Does that make sense?
No.
And the final question is, does it make sense for a president of the United States to accuse his own country of systemic racism?
No.
Does it make sense?
No.
Okay. So you guys scored 100% on the quiz. You guys got them all right.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. Now,
wait
go
a
ahead.
minute. Wait a minute.
All right.
Okay, every one of those questions has been endorsed by President Obama.
Right.
And probably Obama too.
Yes.
But Biden.
He's really running it.
Every one of them.
Yes.
And if you just see it in black and white, if you go to BillO'Reilly.com, it's in black and white, and download it and send it to your liberal friends, the Biden people. Does any of this make sense? 10 questions. Simple man, simple questions.
Okay.
Once you see it, it becomes devastating. It becomes devastating that we have a president who is out of control and hurting the nation in every single area.
So now, does it make sense? I've got a question for you.
Yes.
Does it make sense that those powerful 10 statements all came together out of incompetence or senility?
No. It's this is by design. All
Absolutely.
of those questions are by design.
No, I don't
Absolutely.
mean that. No, I mean that the things that they're doing is by design. They didn't.
Yes.
This is not a coincidence. It's not just a horrible accident that all of those things are happening.
The only one that isn't by design is the Afghanistan withdrawal. So I don't think the progressives
disagree with you.
said we're going to go in there and we're going to botch the withdrawal from Afghanistan so Biden will look terrible. That doesn't make sense.
What they did was say, we are going to do things that will separate America from her allies, show American military what they really are.
And we're going to ignore the military experts, damn the consequences.
Correct.
Yeah, but I disagree with you guys. I don't think that was policy going in.
Yeah,
I think that was just rank incompetence on a part of Biden.
Yeah, I think so. I think he did not listen to his military experts and pushed through all of their recommendations of common sense.
Because he was getting
because of the ideology.
pressure from the Susan Rices of the world
correct.
to get out and be a big progressive hero.
Okay.
But all the other 9 are absolutely what the progressive left wants, and we have this befuddled president who does everything they want. I mean, that's the frightening situation. So he's got to be neutralized by the Republicans, and I don't believe they are the best guys and gals in the world, and just as we were talking about at the top of the program. I mean, I'm not a big, the Republican Party is so good. No. But at least they're sane. What we have now, is insane.
All right, more with Bill O'Reilly here in just a second. First, let me tell you about Penelope. She lives in Texas. Man, over the years, she has begun to get older. She developed a lot of aches and pains throughout her whole body. She found she couldn't walk upstairs anymore without having to stop every little bit. That's why God invented elevators. I'm just saying. Penelope, we have, I think the biggest story of the week is the Attorney General coming out and saying, yeah, we should have the FBI look into these terroristic parents.
I mean, everybody on the right and some independents are outraged by this story. And I'm going to tell you something that I think is going to surprise you. I'm happy this happened because this is what they call the tipping point.
Yes.
Once you get into parental authority in this country, where a government is telling parents what they can and can't do vis-a-vis their own children, it's over. So McAuliffe's going to lose in Virginia because he's backing this. I do.
Good.
I think that the silent people, the independent people, they're saying, "Are you kidding me? You're gonna tell me to shut up when somebody in my school is telling my child to hate a person of another color? You're going to tell me I don't have the right to go down there and vent on that?" And that's exactly what's happening here. It's exactly what's happening. And the second part of this story is that it's an extension of the white supremacist thing. Okay? So now what Biden and again, Biden, how much does he have to do with it? But what the Biden administration, the message they're sending is, if you complain about critical race theory being taught to children, and remember what it is, the essential message of that theory is that if you are white you are an oppressor just by your skin color because your ancestors did all of this stuff and you benefited and African Americans and other minorities got hurt. That's what it is, okay? So you are dividing children. And then this, you can't complain about it because if you do, then you're a white supremacist and you're a bigot. It's an extension of that. And it's just like in the quiz, like you got white supremacy. So if you object to critical race theory in the school, you're a white supremacist. That's the linkage they're trying to make. So the overarch is if you object to progressive policies, no matter what they are, you're evil. And you got to be shut up. And Merrick Garland is going to deputize the federal government to make sure you shut up. Do you realize, Beck, there has not been one arrest in the entire United States made, not one, at any school board hearing, at any public school confrontation between teachers, and not one arrest.
It's only because the cops are the Klan.
Country.
No, it's only because the cops are the Klan.
Okay, whatever. But if you step back, which I always do, and you look at the absurdity,
it's absurd. It's absurd.
Okay.
Let me.
The federal government would be threatening parents for stuff they haven't even done.
Let me give you one more piece of the story of what this is about. Zan Tanner Alexander is his name. He married Rebecca Garland. That's Merrick's daughter. These two started Panorama Education.
That teaches CRT.
Correct. And data mines all of this information. They have a $2.4 million contract in Virginia with the Virginia schools.
Right.
And gee, it's almost like Daddy's racing in with a private army to be able to make sure we shut down these people, these parents who are questioning what my daughter's company is doing to their children.
I don't think that's a real good look for Attorney General Garland, do you?
No, I don't.
That's a good look for him?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
But will you hear about that story? Will Lester Holt tell you that?
No.
How about David Muir?
No.
No?
No.
If David gets out of makeup, but he wouldn't do it. And how about Nora O'Donnell? Is she going to tell you that story?
I'm sensing a pattern here. I think those are all the anchors of the evening news, which I didn't.
Right.
I don't think most people even know is still on the air.
That, Beck, is why these people can do and get away with this brazen conduct.
Yep.
Because the corporate media in America no longer covers the news.
Yep.
Okay, so they know. Merrick Garland knows what his daughter and son-in-law are doing. He knows that. But he's not going to get whipsawed on it because no one will mention it except O'Reilly and Beck.
Let me give you one other piece of this story that I think too many people overlook. They wouldn't be doing this if you weren't effective. If showing up in these school board meetings and speaking your mind, if that wasn't effective, they wouldn't waste any time on you. That you must continue to stand up. By the way, check your school district. Find out if Panorama Education is involved in your school district.
This is the Glenn Beck Program.
All right. I can't say I didn't warn you. The holidays are coming up. Welcome to the Glenn Beck Program. Mr. Bill O'Reilly is with us, and Bill O'Reilly is interviewing President Trump next week. He asked for a few questions from me, and I've spent the break 5 or 6 questions here for you, Bill.
Thank you. Very kind of you. Appreciate it.
Sure. So here's your first one. Why are you touring with Bill O'Reilly? That should be the first one. When will you announce one way or another? What would you do differently this time that might bring others to the table? We know that the left lies, cheats, and steals. We know what they did in the last election. They will now have at least 2 years, possibly 4, where they are intent on bringing new voters in from, overseas and south of the border. Why would we believe this would be a different outcome than 2020? Because
but that'll
of the
take up the whole interview. Then he'll just
all right.
wail on that.
All right.
But
How
I like
about this one?
what would you do differently? That's really good.
How about this one? Do you realize how much better the interview would be if Glenn Beck were the person conducting it?
I like that.
Okay.
I like that a lot.
4 years was not enough time to cut the cancer out last time. You concentrated on the Supreme Court and made huge progress, but then the deep state was left in place. What is the first thing in this term you would concentrate on, and what makes you think you can get it done in 4 years this time?
Okay. Got it?
If you run, can you not destroy Ron DeSantis?
I'm going to ask him about DeSantis and possible primary, and would he be as brutal on DeSantis and Noem and Nikki Haley as he was on Little Marco and
I think he will. I think he will.
Yeah.
Bill,
that's not going to do the country any good, is it?
Yeah.
Bill, do you have any sense as to who would be the VP on a potential Trump ticket?
I mean, it's three people. DeSantis and that, those conversations have already taken place. He's one. Senator Tim Scott, South Carolina, and Kristi Noem, the governor of South Dakota. So those are the three front runners for VP now, but they can change. And I just want to tell everybody that interview will run on the 18th of October, Monday, and we'll send you some clips in advance, Beck.
Okay.
On what happens, because you've been so kind to guide me.
Shut up.
Questioning precincts.
Bill, I noticed Mike Pence doing an interview on Fox this week.
Right.
And that seemed to get a decent amount of publicity. What's the relationship status? Yes, that's true. What's the relationship status between Trump and Pence right now?
It's a distant, cordial relationship. I mean, if Pence calls Trump will take the call. But Pence is not going to be involved in this election.
Any chance Pence runs on his own? No.
Nope. He just doesn't have the gravitas in the sense that the Republicans, some of them believe he's a traitor. That's unfair. Pence did what he had
How is
to do.
he? Wait. How traitor to what?
Well, he didn't try to decertify the election.
Okay, hang on. Name the Republicans that feel that way.
No, Beck.
Oh, well, a lot of voters feel that way.
There are people who are very angry with him. I'm not going to say it's the majority of the Republican Party, but there are a segment of very, very committed Republicans and committed Trump people who believe that Pence sold out the president, because that's what Trump said.
I have to say that there was no constitutional way to do that.
Absolutely.
There was no constitutional way.
We both pointed that out at the time.
Yeah.
But, if you are really a fanatic in anything, you don't kind of listen to anybody. You know how that is.
So,
you think Glenn's a fanatic and won't listen to people?
No.
Never.
He's only a fanatic about pillows.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. You're
certain other things.
I don't know how I would ask him this, but this is a concern of mine, and because he tends to have a very long memory, and when you're an enemy, you're an enemy.
Yeah, but he can. You can get back in his. I mean, look, I know.
Right. Well, hang on, just a second. How much vengeance will be his if he gets into office? I mean, can he get back to an emotional neutral on the people he feels have, damaged the country, stole the election, everything else? Can he be...
Well, let's take Liz Cheney, for example.
Yeah.
So if Liz Cheney's reelected in Wyoming, and I don't think she will be, I think she'll lose. But say she is reelected. She's got a big money there's a lot of money going in to help her there. Would Trump forgive Liz Cheney? No.
So I'm not worried. I'm not worried about. I'm really not worried about even personal relationships. And what I'm worried about is that he was so angry, and I think justified in many ways, very justified in his anger. But he's got to be able to go in and make sure that he is abiding by the Constitution and not setting out on a vengeance campaign.
Yeah, but good luck with that. I mean,
Wow.
For Donald Trump, it's all personal, and I was surprised when Trump said he would do the history tour with me. I really was surprised. I didn't think it was going to happen because he knows that I don't pull any punches. I hate to use a cliche, but I don't. And I know Donald Trump. I know him as well as any commentator knows him. And everything to Donald Trump is personal. Everything. And that is why he lost the election. Because if you look at his policies, particularly in economics and the military, he did a really good job. And then he got the vaccine in record time. Any other president would have been elected by a landslide over a doddering guy like Joe Biden.
Yep.
Any president that had done that, those three accomplishments would have been elected easily, even if the media was pounding you every hour on the hour, which is what happened to Trump. And because Trump takes everything personally and makes everything about him, all right, that set him back among people who aren't really paying attention that closely. They're basing everything on personality and emotion, just like he is. But here's an upside that nobody, I don't think, has considered. Because Trump takes everything personally, because he takes everything personally, that drove him to do a good job.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Because all of his accomplishments, he could say, I did it. I did it. So he was like a fanatic on the economy, on getting black people jobs, on sealing up the border. He's a fanatic on it, never rested, all right, pounding the table. And he did it. And he did it. So I said to him, look, you go on a tour with me about history, what you did and how you did it. That's a new look. You haven't gotten any reporting on that because they hated you so much they would never analyze your accomplishments. I'm giving you the opportunity to do that in front of huge live crowds, and everything's going to be taped, okay? And it's not going to be – I'm not giving the tape out to the media, but, we'll use it, and you can use it. He has the use of all the things that are taped. That put him over. That's why he's doing the 2 shows in Florida, Lauderdale and Orlando, and the 2 in Texas, Houston and Dallas. And Beck was going to come to the Dallas show, but his wife is ordering him to leave the country.
That's right. She is. Right. She is.
So, but Beck, we'll have a special feed for Beck or whatever.
Well, yeah, I'd like to go to one of them, so maybe I'll fly to Florida for one of them.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. People say, oh, yeah, he's going to do that. No. I'm going to ask him very, very pointed, specific questions. And you know me. I'm not going to just move on. I'm going to get the answers. Or I'm going to say in front of 10,000 people, well, no, Mr. Trump doesn't want to answer that. That's how charming I can be.
So here's another question then to ask. What is your vision to take us to the next level? We can't. General, well, no, but we can't. He can't live on I was screwed out of the election. I mean, he's got to shut that down and
I know,
move on.
But he won't shut it down. But I think if he does run for president again, he wants to. He told me, but it's got to line up. It's got to line up. There's a lot of things involved with that. And he doesn't want to spend his own money. He's got a lot of money now in his PAC. I mean, he can do it. But basically, he has to come to the realization that relitigating the 2020 election will hurt him.
Yeah, it will.
Okay?
It will.
He has not come to that realization yet.
He needs to just focus. If he's going to run, He needs to focus on this new normal isn't normal. I'm going to bring you back to when we had full employment, when we had a great economy.
He's got to keep it on issues and his accomplishments.
Yes.
Not personal beefs.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so, but look, you and I can do that, and we can analyze it from that point of view. And certainly when with him on the history tour, and there's going to be a lot of discussions backstage and all of that, I'm going to say exactly what you just said. But can he discipline himself to look ahead and say, this is how I'm going to solve this problem, this is what we're going to do? I don't know.
Yeah, he has to do that because if it's a I was wronged and this time we're going to win, it won't sell with. I mean, it will be a repeat of 2020. It will be very close, and they'll steal it.
We already have proof of that because when he went to Georgia to campaign for the two Republican senators, he made the speech all about him and how Georgia hosed him. The two Republican senators lost.
Yep.
So the folks and independents always decide elections. But I'm telling you this, if he can latch on to that critical race theory and the anger of parents, if he can make that a focal point in his presentation,
he's right. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Ask him a question about Merrick Garland and the FBI investigating these.
Well, Merrick Garland was. I know. Obama wanted him Supreme Court.
I know. All right, Bill, thank you so much. Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com. We'll talk to you again next week, Bill. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for helping me out there.
All right. Sherry lives